Welcome to Marketing Monday. The scenes from around the country are stark. 44.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Rock coming back at with y'all. We're gonna be reacting to this dude. I don't know how to pronounce that. A trio. Yeah, I'm special. But yeah, we're gonna be reacting to this video. Go tapping with bro. You know what I'm saying? But he's basically just gonna be talking about Elon and his affairs at the moment, since he wants to be a loudmouth with Trump. So yeah, shit plummeted, but you know, I'm gonna still buy Tesla, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta buy the dip.
4 wheels stolen from Teslas in a parking lot in Texas. Superchargers set on fire in Massachusetts. Protesters arrested out front of a Tesla dealership in New York. Mass protests and boycotts in front of a Tesla dealership in Georgia. Red paint smeared across a Tesla dealership in Berkeley. Shots fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon. Swastikas painted on cars in Europe. All of these scenes add up to a pretty insane picture of Tesla's current standing. But just a few months ago, we were in an entirely different place. I take you back to December 12th, 2020.
I love how they got the shit like the market crashing, like the stock plummeting. That's funny.
Entirely different place. I take you back to December 12th, 2024. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, was on top of the world. Wearing his dark MAGA hat, hands up to the crowd, he was feeling incredible after only a few months earlier tweeting that he is not donating money to either candidate for president. He switched up rather quickly and became a huge supporter of Donald Trump to the tune of around $300 million. And because of that, he was deeply enmeshed in the administration when Donald Trump won the election, thus making him, in the days after the election, $200 billion richer. By December 12th, about a month after the election, his net worth topped $400 billion, which, if you don't know, makes him the richest man in human history. I'm not exaggerating. Mansa Musa, who you might bring up, but even with the best estimation, had 400 billion. John D. Rockefeller, the first billionaire, had at his peak wealth 1.5% of the US GDP. Insanely wealthy. At this day, December 12th, Elon Musk had 1.6. He was richer than every man that has ever lived. Not even in the fictional world. Forbes puts out a Forbes list called the Fictional 15 and estimates the wealth of fictional characters like Scrooge McDuck. Elon Musk on December 12th had more money than all of these fictional characters combined.
No, that's crazy, bro. Richie Rich? Damn, he rich there, Richie Rich. That's money. Yo, Richie Rich was the epitome of wealth for me growing up as a kid. Like, I used to see Richie Rich and be like, damn, bro, that nigga got money, bro. Money, bro, word. Got everything he wanted. But Bruce Wayne? Damn, Bruce Wayne only got $6 billion? I'm saying $6 billion like that's a little money, but the way that nigga be spending money in this shit be, you'd think he got like 100 billion or some shit like that. But I'm trying to find, what's that guy's name? Why is Tooth Fairy up there? I'm trying to find his name. Lex Luthor. Where's Lex Luthor? I thought Lex Luthor would have been up here for sure, bro. Damn.
More money than Tony Stark, Scrooge McDuck, Bruce Wayne, the Tooth Fairy. It's a level of wealth, again, that is really hard to wrap your mind around. And he was feeling pretty damn good about it. He had the political power, the insider connections, the wealth, all of his companies were up. And in the past 3 months, something of a car crash happened. Tesla stock, almost inexplicably, dropped 50% since December 12th. 50%! In 3 months, below where it was before the election. Now, this number is hard to wrap your head around, but Tesla's market cap loss, its valuation lost in this short period, is equivalent to $800 billion. And I want you to try and understand the scale of what that loss is. Tesla's losses since December 18th, 2024 are greater than the entire value of Toyota. It's like if Toyota went to zero. Is that crazy? No, because it's way more than that. It's Toyota plus Ferrari plus Mercedes-Benz plus VW combined, all going to zero. Is that crazy?
Owns like half of the fucking automobile. This whole shit is crazy, bro. This when it gets to spinning, looks like a swastika. Crazy work. But yeah, this is Hitler's brand, y'all. For the people who do not know, Volkswagen, the people's car, the people's automobile, was Hitler's dream vision or whatever. And he made Mr. Ferdinand Porsche create the bug, the beetle, whatever. And yeah, that shit came to fruition. Hitler never got to see it. God, I was a tongue twister. Hitler never got to see that shit, but essentially, Volkswagen is a Nazi company. My first car was a Volkswagen. I didn't know about the history. It's not like I'm not gonna buy that shit no more, but it's just like, damn, like it really shows. It puts into perspective how, you know what I'm saying, close that shit is and how relevant like that whole era still is, because many of these brands that was profiting off of the Holocaust and um, like forced labor and shit like that, you know, they still thriving to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Hugo Boss had like Jewish slaves and whatnot from concentration camps doing labor for free, not for free, they're slaves basically. But yeah, those aren't the only companies, and mad companies got away with it. It's just it shows you. But yeah, I just wanted to say that that's Hitler's brand right there. Porsches too is crazy, bro. We already know Hitler had a big body Benz, bro. He had the biggest Benz possible back in the day. It's literally called Big Benz, like in German, Big Benz. That's what it is called. But yeah, so that's crazy. And then the Japanese, can't forget about the Japanese, bro. Them niggas, but Americans be doing our dirt too, bro. Cause Vietnam, crazy, bro. So everybody be doing their dirt. So you know what it is. But some niggas' dirt is deeper.
No, because it's way more than that.
I ain't trying to get it political, but you know that's just history. That's fact. That's law. You understand? Come on, son. Yo,
Those losses since December 18th are equivalent to Ford, Subaru, Mazda, Toyota, Nissan, Rivian, Honda, Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Aston Martin, Hyundai, Kia, VW, GM, and BMW combined. It's as if every one of these companies went to zero in 3 months. I am not exaggerating. I'm not upplaying it. This is exactly the amount of market cap lost. And take $10 billion on top of that and light it on fire. Why? In 3 months, how could the fortunes of a company change so quickly? Some people have a very specific answer. But whether that was a Sieg Heil, a Roman salute, or it's just his heart was going out to you, I know what it looks like to me. And I
think it was buggy, bro. Let's do that. Let's see that one more time.
Specific answer. But whether that was a Sieg Heil, a Roman salute, or it's just his heart was going out to you, I know what it looks like to me. And I do know that the timing is pretty convenient in that the day that happened was basically the beginning of the losses this year. But what this presentation is going to talk about is that there is so much more rotten under the hood of this company. There is so much more worth taking a look at business-wise than just the political machinations of Elon Musk. Now, that being said, his reputation is falling and it is taking Tesla with it. We should start by talking about some of the politics, okay?
That's really sad though, because like imagine like the people, you know, who trying to invest and they see Tesla and they see the vision and they, you know, want to be a part of that, want to have a piece of the pie. So they put like a piece of their life savings into that shit. And it was going great until, you know, he started doing dickhead shit, throwing up the HH shit or whatever. Um, and yeah, so anything this man says now, essentially, he's so connected. Tesla's basically a proxy for Elon Musk at this point, because whatever he does, pardon me, whatever he does, his stock is gonna follow. So yeah, it's just crazy. The man be talking and acting crazy, and he has literally people's like whole, you know what I'm saying, fortune in their hand, and people are down 50% now. Whoever bought at the highs, it's crazy. I ain't buying at the highs. I'm buying at these lows. You understand? But yeah, that's crazy though, bro. Like he needs to shut up, and I don't think he should have ever went political, bro. So Yeah, going into that politics.
Because there's no doubt about it. And it's a bit of a stark situation, play on words intended, because 7 years ago, it was widely accepted that Elon Musk was the real-life Iron Man.
People have called you the real Tony Stark.
How are you?
Congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Those Merlin engines are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good idea for an electric jet.
You do?
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
You gotta be kidding me.
Sorry?
You're Elon Musk.
I am?
So let's talk about the Tesla. I have a
Hey,
Tesla.
yo.
Yeah.
Okay, and I love
As a
it.
kid, I wouldn't have got that joke, but I get it.
Good luck, Machete.
Good plumbing.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Tesla Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you sincerely trying to save the world?
Well, I'm trying to do good things. Yeah. I mean.
But you're trying to do good things and you're a billionaire. I mean,
Yeah.
that seems a little bit like either superhero or supervillain. You have to choose one.
It's funny, it kind of cuts off, but he paused for a long time after that question. In 2018, Jay Schlatt tweeted, if America's gonna get another billionaire president, can it at least be Elon Musk next time? I mean, his reputation was, for all intents and purposes, solid gold. And then a lot of things happened. I think most of you are well aware of these things. I don't need to go too much detail, but a quick recap between 2018 and now. He called a Thai cave rescuer a pedophile for not using his submarine. He said he was gonna take Tesla private at $420 a share and funding was secured. So everybody pumped the stock to $420. Then he said, oops, I don't actually have the funding. Losing investors $12 billion, getting his Twitter account frozen briefly by the SEC. He said COVID would have 0 new cases in America by the end of April. He said
his Twitter account if he owns Twitter for X. That don't make sense.
pronouns are prosecute Fauci. He said in 2021 he preferred to stay out of politics, then got deeply into politics, then said Trump would be too old to be president, then got super in with Trump. He said it's gonna be the most awesome presidency of all time, the most fun president of all time. He said he wanted to buy Twitter as a joke and then tried to back out and then was forced by a court to do it. Then once he owned Twitter, he said, I'll abide by a poll for everything that I do, including I'll step down if I lose this poll. Then he lost the poll, then stopped doing polls. And perhaps most damningly for us gamers, he was caught and eventually admitted to boosting in Path of Exile and Diablo 4. Now there's many, many more things in there. I'm just giving you a brief example of why his reputation might have taken a hit over the past 4-ish years, including the fact that Jay Schlatt 5 hours ago tweeted, I take it back. Your opinion on each of these individual instances can vary, but it might have taken a hit over the past 4-ish years, including the fact that Jay Schlatt 5 hours ago tweeted, I take it back. Your opinion on each of these individual instances can vary, but the business case for it is pretty damning. There's been a backlash. Major brand worries. How toxic is Elon Musk's behavior for Tesla? Again, he's so deeply intertwined with the brand of Tesla in consumers' minds. They can't really separate Tesla and Elon Musk. It's creating a reputational problem for the brand, leading to declining sales and damage to Tesla globally. In every country other than China, Tesla's reputation has dropped year over year. Doesn't even include 2025 numbers. And sales data shows that even people that love their Tesla cars are starting to get sick of Musk's behavior. They're buying stickers like this. I bought this before Elon went crazy, and having quotes like this. I'm sort of embarrassed to be seen in that car now. I bought this before Elon went crazy. People are trying to signal that.
Shout out my homie, son. Homie Jared. But yo, bro had the most banging 340, bro. That shit was beautiful, immaculate, bro. Bro got a Tesla instead. Yo, bro, I was so hyped for bro when I see bro pull up with that shit, son. Then he tuned it. And he got the exhaust for that shit, bro. Oh, that shit had the M Sport package and all that, bro. 2019, John, bro. For Tesla, bro. But yo, bro, shout out my son Jared, bro. That nigga really getting money, bro. 340, bro. Said I had the banging 340, bro.
But hey, I don't know. I don't support necessarily all this behavior, even though I bought Tesla. Companies that compete with Tesla are even using this in their marketing. Kia put this on Instagram, I think, putting a sticker on their new car, their new EV. Quotes like this: when he stood up and made that Sieg Heil Nazi salute, something clicked in my head and I thought, I cannot drive a Tesla. I don't care how affordable or fun they are. None of that mattered anymore. What used to be such a glamorous statement car, to me, actually became a really repulsive one. Whether you agree with this person or not, this is a customer. When you're a business, this customer matters, and this customer adds up. Dr. Kumate here bought a gold-plated Tesla Cybertruck to advertise his business. This is a guy who was all in on the brand. Now he wants to sell it because of all the backlash. And it's partially because people are getting negative feedback from those around him. This is on Reddit in our Boston. People don't want this to happen to them when they buy a Tesla car. Stickers are getting placed on cars that say, don't buy a swastika car. Now, Elon Musk will tell you that all of these protests are being astroturfed by Democratic mega donors like George Soros. I think sales data would show that is not necessarily the case. And even if vandalism in the protests are, I think, rightfully stopped by police, as is happening here in Chicago, people don't want to go through a police picket line to buy a car. It suddenly makes them feel some type of way about the customer purchasing experience. Ross Gerber is certainly no ally of George Soros.
That is a very good point. I like this guy's tweet.
Ross Gerber is a longtime Tesla pumper. He made a ton of money off Tesla and used to be one of the biggest Elon shills. He's recently been saying the bare facts because he's also an investor. Tesla cannot sell its cars due to Elon's behavior. Let's stop blaming other things or interest rates. Only one person is responsible for this. And what's more important than all of this is that we are in a deeply divided country. So you may say to yourself, well, everybody he pisses off on one side, he may gain on the other side. And for some products, that might be true. But some facts about EVs make that particularly hard to believe. If you guys had to guess what 10 states bought the highest amount of EVs and where they voted in the 2020 election, I'll give you a hint. It's these 10 states and they all voted blue. They're all pretty deeply blue. Now, if I were to tell you which states bought the least amount of EVs, it would be these 10 states, and they all voted Trump. You might be seeing a pattern. Courting Trump voters can be a fine business strategy for, I don't know, for a beer brand or something, but for an electric vehicle specifically, it's kind of a losing one because they don't want to leave gas-powered cars. The data's pretty stark on this. 55% of Republicans say there's no chance at all they consider buying any EV in the next decade. So it's an uphill battle. At the same time, they're coming into a certain time of a particularly dangerous economy. So politics aside, if Tesla was just a car company going into this 2025 year, they'd already be in trouble because as recession fears grow, late car payments have never been this high. It's the highest level since they began tracking the data. There have never been this many auto borrowers 60 days past due. People are not able to make their car payments as is, let alone able to buy brand new cars, which might explain why Tesla, in desperation, is offering 0% down, 0% APR subprime loans to try and boost demand. But the problem is, even if this increases sales in the short term, many of these won't get paid. These are very dangerous loans to be giving out to an economy of people that probably can't pay them back. This is a desperate play for growth. Most people in this car market are just waiting. Primarily want used cars, and they primarily want the prices to go down. And if they buy a used car, they want something that'll hold its value, which is exactly the opposite of what's happening with Tesla. Used car prices for Teslas are crashing, way down even compared with other EVs, which again are not doing well themselves. At the same time, if you're a regular everyday consumer in America, one of the biggest things you worry about with your car is repair costs, because losing access to your car can mean being unable to get to work. It's a massive unexplained expense. Repair costs for Tesla are higher than both gas cars and other EVs. And because Tesla locks down repairs and controls the entire supply chain top to bottom, you have to wait a long time. So there's a big problem for a regular consumer in getting a Tesla, even if you don't care about any of the politics stuff. Guess what? This might shock myself and many people in this audience, but America is not the only country in the world. Tesla sells most of its cars in these 10 countries. I'm blocking out one because we'll talk about it later. Maybe you can guess what it is. These 10 countries are primarily where Tesla makes its sales. US, Germany, France, Canada, UK, Australia, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Let's go through these countries. We've talked about the US already. We know what's happening there. Germany, 76% fall in sales. People are pissed about his meddling in the German elections, promoting the AfD. France, sales plunged 63%. They only had 1,000 new cars in France in January. They underperformed the overall industry and the EV segment. At the same time in France, They really don't fuck around when it comes to rioting. So they're not just having small protests in front of stores, they're lighting them on
French
fire.
Revolution, they don't give a fuck in France. They dead don't. They from that French Revolution shit, bro. They don't give a fuck.
12 cars destroyed in arson in France. Canada, sales down 70%. Not only due to price hikes, but also loss of rebates. Rebates especially interesting because for some reason, right before the EV rebate disappeared in Canada, 4 Tesla stores reported selling 30 cars per hour. Essentially 1 car every minute, 24 hours a day for 3 straight days. Extremely suspicious because Tesla gets a kickback from the EV rebate. It's almost like they were faking sales right before the rebate ran out to get money from the Canadian government, which is exactly what Canada TV News is reporting.
For Ottawa's rebate program on electric vehicles that allegedly prompted a mad rush to buy EVs.
Sandy, a spike in purchases was to be expected, though the reported sale of 8,600 Teslas equaling $43 million in rebates at 4 Canadian Tesla locations has sparked plenty of questions.
In the west end of Toronto, this one Tesla location alone reported selling more than 1,200 vehicles on January 11th, totaling more than $4 million in rebates.
I can understand that in France, they're not even selling 1,200 vehicles total in the whole month. But in this one Canadian location, they're moving 1,200 units like in a day right before the rebate closes.
So we paid them a visit to try and get some clarity on the staggering number of sales.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. My name's Adrian Gobriel. I'm a journalist with CTV News. Okay. There was a large increase in the number of sales processed through the EV rebate program. Did that take place, or is that a backlog of paperwork going through? You can't share any comments? Is there any manager you think that might be?
Because it kind of seems, again, this is allegedly, but it kind of seems like fraud against the Canadian government. It's also suspicious that the sales went up so much in Canada at that store, given that 71% of Canadians support a total ban on Tesla altogether. 71%! In the UK, it is different. Tesla sales did rise in the UK. Though part of it is the fact that the UK EV sales are up dramatically across the board. Basically, 1 in 4 new cars in the UK are now fully electric. They're making a massive EV transition. They have a lot of still active subsidies. People are buying EVs hand over fist. And there is still things you can find in the UK that show that patience with him is running out. This is on the London Underground. Elon Musk's Perfume Day 1939 for wankers. Australia is down 81%. Sweden and Norway are down 44 and 38 year over year. They buy a ton of EVs. They're buying less Teslas. Denmark down 52% in February. So if you add all this up, 8 of the 9 countries we showed are down year over year. UK is up. What about that last one though? Did anyone guess what this last country is? That's right.
China, 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 China. China!
It's China! Probably the most important country in the world for the future EV battle. How is Tesla doing in China? It's been a steady source of growth for them for a long time. And it's worth noting that unlike every other country here, the people in China don't give a shit about Musk's politics. Survey after survey shows reputation of Tesla has not been harmed by Elon's antics. They still think he's a cool tech guy, but that doesn't matter. The truth is, disappointing sales in China, and they are down 49%, are not because of his politics or caring about Elon at all. It's because of their narrow and dated lineup and up-to-date and more exciting offerings from BYD. Basically, they're just getting out-competed. Tesla is flaming in China, and the rapid rise of BYD is to blame. It's not because of a Sieg Heil. They're just getting little broed by the BYD Atto 3 and the BYD Seal. And these BYD products are promising a Tesla-level car, but built for the Chinese audience at a fraction of the price and sold within country. And if only somebody exactly 5 years ago could have predicted in a Discord chat with Ludwig and Stans this very day the Shanghai Gigafactory was announced, that China was going to prop up a competitor with government money and force Tesla out eventually within the next 5 years. And exactly 5 years after this post, BYD surpassed Tesla in 2024. Once they surpassed them, they have not let go. By 2025, it's not even close. They're getting mogged in the country. At the same time, some of their future offerings about self-driving tech, well, those are getting mogged too. Because in a surprise announcement, BYD announced self-driving tech, basically the equivalent of Tesla's FSD, for free. If you buy a Tesla, you have to pay an extra 8-10 grand to upgrade the self-driving. BYD rolled it out to every make and model for free. Tesla responded by trying to roll theirs out in China, but immediately users that tried it were greeted with tons of tickets.
Nah, that's OD. Nigga have beer tickets for the car.
全部都处理完了。然后视频里一共是
This guy turned on his Tesla self-driving and got 7 tickets on one ride.
对，自行车道，自行车道，不要，大哥，这是自行车道。
It keeps driving into bike and bus lanes that it's not allowed to, and in China, the camera automatically detects it and flags you. So it's like instant punishment. You can't just apply the same FSD software you got from other countries in China. It has unique roads and lanes and signs. BYD has accounted for that in their self-driving because it's built for China. Sales declining in 9 out of 10 countries where it makes basically all of its sales. Politics causing backlash. Competition causing sales problems. But all of these aren't even as big of a problem as this one. Math. Even if none of these were happening, there would still be a problem with math. Now, thankfully, it's not going to be this math because I'm a business major. It's going to be business major math, which looks more like this. Very, very simple. A price earnings ratio is essentially what a company's worth divided by how much it actually makes. Gives you a good idea of when you as an investor will get your money back. For most car companies, like for example, Ford, a PE ratio might be something like 5 to 10. Pretty much saying, hey, you're not a high growth company. I'll get my money back in about 5 to 10 years. For a high growth tech company, which might grow dramatically in the next few years, you can give them a PE ratio as high as 20 to 30. Apple sits at 35. Let me help you understand that maybe not all of the Magnificent 7 truly belong. Apple deserves this number because they make $96 billion in profit a year. They're one of the greatest cash generating geysers in human history. Google made $100 billion in profit last year, a 35% increase. Microsoft made $88 billion, a 21% increase. Meta made $62 billion, up from $39 billion, a big increase. These are all cash geysers, tens of billions of dollars of profit. Amazon made $59 billion, a 94% increase. Of course they have a high PE ratio. Nvidia has the highest of them all, a PE ratio of 60, which is crazy, but they're up 144% year over year, 72 billion in profit. That's 6. What's the 7th? Tesla last year made $7 billion in profit, a 52% decrease. Not only are they going down in profit, but this amount isn't that much to begin with. It certainly doesn't qualify them to be up with all these trillion-dollar magnificent companies. And so if we go back to our simple price earnings ratio, what it's worth divided by what it makes, Tesla's still worth $722 billion, and they made $7.13 billion. So if you do the very simple math here, you'll find out that Tesla's PE ratio is not 5 to 10, it's not 20 to 30, it's 101 still. It declined by 50% and it's still astronomically high. The level of growth expectations baked into this fairly small company is fucking crazy. It's 101 today. And that leads me to an important question that gets asked a lot. The question is, why are we not getting rid of Elon Musk as CEO? He's causing us all this reputational damage. Why not get rid of him? We can ask ourselves, what would Tesla be worth without Elon Musk? What if it was valued like a normal car company or even like a normal tech company? Well, it turns out that math has been done in this article by Fortune. And I updated it for the new numbers, but essentially Tesla's actual valuation, if you ran the numbers normally, would be $84 billion, which means a massive portion of their valuation is just hype. It's just Elon Musk's ability to promise and promise and promise and promise and promise the future. Which means it's very hard for them to actually get rid of him. Even though Tesla sales are down and they have to keep cutting prices, and they're in a price war they can't win. Even though they're trying to unload inventory and it's bad news for investors, even though their profit per vehicle continues to tank, the car company is still worth $722 billion. If it was valued normally, it would probably be closer to 84. Even Tesla employees say he's like a pigeon CEO. He comes in, shits all over us, and goes. But they can't get rid of him. Every dot on this chart is a tweet. You'll notice in 2022, when he bought Twitter, it gets blood red. Even though he spends the vast majority of his day tweeting, they can't get rid of him. Because if they get rid of him, they're going to lose this much valuation from the company. Inside man or woman. The chairperson of the Tesla board, Robin Denholm, has been selling Tesla stock hand over fist. Every package she gets, she is dumping on the market because she knows this valuation cannot last. The Tesla CFO is selling hand over fist. Kimball Musk, Elon Musk's brother, is selling hand over fist. If you look at the insider sales of a normal tech company, let's say even a highly valued one, possibly overvalued one like Nvidia, it looks like this. Basically, there's always more sold than bought because people get paid in shares, so they sell. There's some people buying, most are selling. If you look at the insider trading, not insider trading, insider activity of Tesla shares, you'll find 0 purchases. Not a single Tesla executive is buying Tesla stock. Every single one of them is selling. Selling. Because they know that at the end of the day, the math, the raw math of what this company actually earns does not give it a $700 or $800 billion valuation, let alone a $1.5 trillion, which it had just 3 months ago. And they are making sure they get out while the market is still inflated. Now, the reality of this company is far different from that inflated expectation. And Elon Musk, as much as he might pretend not to, he knows this. He's actually said it back before he was so cautious. Back in 2020, Elon Musk said, when looking at our actual profitability, it's very low. Investors are giving us a lot of credit for future profits, but if at any point they conclude that's not going to happen, our stock will immediately get crushed like a souffle under a sledgehammer. That's 100% true. And profitability is an interesting word, because again, as they keep cutting prices to try and stay competitive and show sales growth, the profit per vehicle continues to dwindle. It looks desperate. He has also said this.
But the overwhelming focus is solving full self-driving, and that's essential. And like that's really the difference between Tesla being worth a lot of money and being worth basically 0.
That's a pretty revealing statement. I don't think he even knew how revealing that was. He is basically openly saying, if we don't solve full self-driving, and by the way, this interview is years ago, our company's essentially worthless. Now, I think it's still worth $50, $100 billion. They sell cars. People like the cars. Some people do. But essentially 0 compared to what it was valued at the time. And that brings me to what I think is happening. People wonder the motivations between a lot of Elon's actions. Maybe some of it's the ketamine. But I think he has been quietly but steadily building an escape hatch. Let me explain why. I think he had a little bit of an idea going into government. Now, you guys may know this. Elon Musk was being hit with lawsuits and oversights and fines and complaints from a lot of government agencies. All of these institutions had something going on with Tesla's companies. Once he came into power, Doge wiped almost all these out, fired them, neutered them, shut them down in the case of some of these. He's cleared a lot of the legal problems off the plate of a lot of his companies, but still, that won't solve Tesla's sales. He might be able to do some small things like get the Cybertruck eligible for the government EV tax credit, but for how long? Trump has not proven to be very friendly to EVs. But what other of Elon's companies might be a lot better if you had a lot of power within government? It's SpaceX. And one thing you might not know, some other math that's kind of inconvenient, is that Tesla, at an $800 billion valuation, is the biggest company Elon Musk's a part of. Sure, but he only owns 12%. SpaceX, he owns 42%. So if you actually do the math on Elon Musk's net worth today, he makes a lot more from SpaceX than he does from Tesla. SpaceX is actually way more important to his bottom line than it is from Tesla. It's now worth more than his Tesla shares. And that might be why he's more and more saying publicly that he needs a bigger pay package from Tesla. He needs more shares and more voting control. I am uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having 25% voting control. I don't want to be overturned. That's why he keeps asking for a $56 billion Tesla payday. That's why, even though he's spending a ton of money on big AI data centers for Grok, he's not doing them under the Tesla banner. Grok AI is under X.AI. Tesla doesn't own it. He's been quietly, slowly but surely, getting all of his future growth stuff out of Tesla, where he has a much higher ownership percentage. And as the wheels literally come off of Tesla, he is setting himself up to still be mega rich through SpaceX. Elon Musk's Starlink under SpaceX is getting massive government contracts. They call him a walking conflict of interest. Everything he does in the government is beneficial to SpaceX, even using his government connections to talk to other foreign leaders. Again, they just got a $1.6 billion telecom security deal with Italy. This type of power with a company he controls a lot more of and is also private instead of public means that SpaceX is actually way more valuable to Elon Musk than Tesla ever was. It's also because it's private. Chinese investors can privately take stakes in his companies without having to disclose. He can hide who he's doing business with. Whereas with Tesla, it's public. With SpaceX, you can give him a ton of money for a favor and it's totally off the grid, which might explain why he's been so adamant that Taiwan is a part of China, right as Chinese investors take massive private stakes in SpaceX. All of this adds up to a unique picture of a guy that seemingly is caring less and less about his baby. Well, not his actual 14 children.
He just left that little nigga.
People seem to think Tesla is so important to Elon Musk's bottom line,
bro,
but it's less about his baby.
Yo,
not his actual 14 children.
Nobody. He could
But his
fall
corporate
his
baby.
face flat.
People seem to
bro,
think
that's
Tesla
crazy.
is so important to Elon Musk's bottom line, but actually he's kind of made sure that it isn't. Promises, promises. Now, where does that leave us going forward for Tesla as an investor, if you're thinking about investing in Tesla? Well, what you have right now is declining car sales growth and a lot of promises. But how much are these promises worth? I know some of them in the past.
Franz, could you try to break this glass, please? Sure? Yeah. Oh my fucking God. Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
A Tesla car next year will probably be 90% capable of autopilot. So 90% of your miles could be on auto.
We're probably only a month away from having autonomous driving, at least for highways and for relatively simple roads. The Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now. We're still on track for being able to go cross-country from LA to New York by the end of the year, fully autonomous.
End of the year.
For sure. We will have over 1 million robo-taxis on the road.
My wife was murdered. I want to go after Sarah's killers.
Point it at my chest. Do it now.
You might be the smartest person in the city, but you're just not a killer.
Do you ever account for the things I'm good at? This is a device.
Next year, for sure, 2019.
I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
When do you think Tesla will solve level 4 FSD?
I mean, it's looking quite likely that it will be next year.
These promises worked for a really long time, and for some people they still do. But investors are slowly but surely, politics aside, just not believing him so much anymore. And the lies are getting more and more grandiose to compensate. Whereas before he would just say, we have a great product coming next year, in air quotes, he's now openly talking about the stock price and saying we might have 1,000% gain in the next 5 years. This is like from 5 days ago, 10 days ago. Even Wall Street Bets is calling it COPE. It sounds like a made up number. It's ridiculous. On the recent Tesla earnings call, he said the following:
I see a path. I'm not saying it's an easy path, but I see a path for Tesla being the most valuable company in the world by far, not even close. There is a path where Tesla is worth more than the next top 5 companies combined. There's a path to that.
What path to being a $30+ trillion company? Bigger than Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, Meta combined? It's delusional levels of stock pumping, and it's not working as well as it used to. And so the only real concrete promises you're left with are around robo-taxis and robots. These need to come out soon and make a ton of money. He says robo-taxis in the future, experts have doubts. They might come out, maybe. They might make some money, but will they make the billions and billions of dollars quickly that the company needs to even justify its current valuation, let alone grow?
Imagine, bro. You just loading up the cab and the shit just decide to pull off on you, bro. You can't even do nothing because it's a fucking robot. So you're chasing it. It's not like you could hail the cab driver down. I don't know. That's just crazy. I'm not getting that shit.
Bro, without having any legal troubles?
That's some real
This is Ross Gerber again. When will the government allow FSD robotaxis to operate alongside human drivers? Who's liable for the accidents? Who will buy and operate them? Will they even make money or will they become a commodity? How will competition with Waymo drive prices up or down? Waymo, by the way, is currently ahead in this space. And for robots, it looks like the tech really isn't there at all right now. It seems like a really out there kind of promise. Now with the robots, again, he's just saying everyone's gonna want one. I mean, this part was really crazy. He said we could make $1 trillion a year in profit from Optimus robots. There could be 10 to 30 billion robots worldwide. There'll be a 2-to-1 ratio. Is any of this anywhere close to fruition? Is this just a guy on ketamine talking? Is there any hard math behind these numbers, or are you just saying what you want investors to hear to keep the stock up? I think before, a lot of people would say, I believe him. And I think now people are saying, wait a minute, maybe I don't. Especially after what has turned out to be quite a massive debacle with the only recent product they've announced, which was the Cybertrucks, which despite arriving late, were still rushed out. They malfunctioned at an astounding rate. They had delivery problems. They rusted. They're having corrosion. They're having returns. And now they're piling up on the lot. They're just not selling at the rate they thought they would. So all of this combines, and I say, what now? Where do we go from Tesla? Not about Elon, where does Tesla go from here? First of all, politically, I haven't seen this much backlash on a company, maybe ever. It's a coordinated global boycott / denouncing / the most recent example that's anywhere close is the Bud Light boycott by conservatives in America. That was because of the Dylan Mulvaney transgender Instagram post. Again, Bud Light backtracked and had a fucking Shane Gillis out within a year, right? Even this is such a smaller thing, and Bud Light, cowardly or not, immediately backtracked. Tesla, to the other side, has done so much more for so much longer with no signs of slowing down. I don't think the brand is recoverable among like Europeans and Democrats, which again is like a large part of the EV buying audience. I sincerely believe that unless there's such a massive tech advantage that people have to buy it, it feels like the brand is kind of poison, which makes it very hard to see the sales growth you want. By the way, Bud Light, despite being a much smaller controversy and lasting for much less time and only being in one country, still hasn't recovered. I can't imagine the amount of damage that's happening to Tesla right now. Now, there are attempts to rectify it. Donald Trump stepped in today and said to Republicans, conservatives, and all great Americans, Elon Musk is putting it on the line in order to help our nation, and he's doing a fantastic job. But the radical left lunatics, as they often do, are trying to illegally and collusively boycott Tesla. I would say vandalism is illegal, but boycotting is not illegal. You can't force someone. You can't force someone to buy a Tesla. One of the world's great automakers and Elon's baby in order to attack and do harm to Elon and everything he stands for. They tried to do it to me at the 2024 presidential ballot box, and how did that work out? In any event, I'm going to buy a brand new Tesla tomorrow morning as a show of confidence and support for Elon Musk, a truly great American. Why should he be punished for putting his tremendous skills to work in order to help make America great again? Trump is in his corner. Trump followed through on his promise.
I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people. So I just wanted to make a statement. I'm going to buy one. Now, here's the bad news. I'm not allowed to drive because I haven't driven a car in a long time, and I love to drive cars.
So they had a Tesla auto show at the White House. With, I'm not kidding, a presidential ad read. This is Donald Trump's actual notes, where he listed off the sales prices of different different Tesla cars. This is like what I sales prices of different.
Let me see. I feel like he pumped that shit. 100K? 100K for a Tesla? No, he's bugging. Full self-driving. Oh, because it's even the non-self-driving is still, and he got his thumb over it so niggas can't see that outrageous price. So it's gonna be purchased as low as. Nah, bro, that's crazy, bro. This nigga is.
This is Donald Trump's actual notes, where he listed off the sales prices of different different Tesla cars. This is like what I get for Huel. But I don't think this changes much. While this may make some conservatives more endeared to Elon, I don't think they're going to change their buying habits around EVs, nor will more chargers suddenly spring up in their neighborhoods. These efforts could simply continue the backlash by making it a more politically aligned company. And I think Elon is starting to understand this.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean.
But there's no turning back, you're saying.
Watch that shit day by day.
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud, and so far we're making good progress, actually. So
he looks like he's about to cry.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is going to turn the tides on the sales. However, based on this, betting markets are seeing rising odds that Elon Musk might leave the White House this year in response to increasing downturns at all of his companies. Outside of SpaceX, which can benefit from his Doge connections, everything else is getting hammered. And given that so many of his Twitter problems are backed up with Tesla loans, if that falls, the whole house of cards can be in trouble. So we may see an about face from Elon Musk this year. But there's one final point that's worth talking about. Elon Musk, regardless of all this, is going to be fine. If Tesla went to zero, he'll be fine. He has SpaceX. He has government connections. He's a billionaire probably till the day he dies. Who else has been buying Tesla stock hand over fist for the past 5 years as it now hits the skids? It turns out pretty much every American. Not just Wall Street Bets memers, pretty much every American with a 401k has been buying millions of shares of Tesla passively because it has such a big market cap weight in the S&P 500. Every ETF has been buying Tesla stock over and over and over at unsustainable highs. These problems aren't just Tesla's problems. As Elon Musk runs this company down and leaves without caring, like another child of his, the average 401k American is left holding the bag. This is dragging down the performance of everyone's retirement. And finally, I have to say, before you go and take this presentation and say, I'm gonna short Tesla, understand you're not the only one with this idea. When a company drops $800 billion in value in 3 months, people jump on the idea of shorting the company or buying puts. And once the idea gets too popular, a short squeeze is very easy. Nobody knows what'll happen in the short term to any stock price. Please do not risk your savings when one tweet from Trump or one announcement from Elon could spike it up at least somewhat and ruin all of your bets. All I would say is, over the long run, unless you firmly believe that we're going to have a Tesla robot in every home and a robotaxi driving on every street, this company is not worth what it says it is. And that's going to become very...
Bro, I see one of them robo shits, bro. I'm not showing no fucking respect to that shit, bro. That shit is getting past, bro. Respect. That shit, I'm not trusting that shit, bro. I need to be in front of it, not behind it. Actually, that's probably smarter to be behind that shit. Well, I don't know. I just don't like being behind Teslas in general, bro. Because them shits could, like, they brake without you getting on the brake. So, because it has, like, the regenerative braking. So, like, people be, like, slowing down and they don't even be having their brake lights on. I think that's how it works. But I'm pretty sure, because I be seeing, like, Teslas be, like, moving weird. Like, if you ever get behind a Tesla, you know what I'm talking about.
parent sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching Marketing Monday.
Great video, bro. It's a great outro too. That's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna subscribe. Alright, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed that video about fucking Elon and how he's crashing his shit. So I hope y'all have a beautiful, wonderful day. And see y'all in the next one.